Good day, everyone. My name is Samantha Alviz, and today we are welcoming you to our project called Aquannections. Water is one of the most important natural resources we have here on Earth. In fact, 71% of the Earth's surface is covered with water. However, water is never staying still. Wherever you look, there is water. Water can be seen in air as water vapor, and in rivers, and also in soils. That is why we believe that water is creating bridges between ecosystem, and that is possible because of the water cycle. Water cycle is also known as hydrologic cycle or hydrological cycle. It describes the continuous movement of water on, above, or below the surface of the earth. You will learn more about this with the next speaker. Thank you.
The water cycle shows the continuous movement of water within the Earth and its atmosphere. Water evaporates from the Earth's atmosphere, rises into the atmosphere, cools and melts into rain or snow in the clouds, which gradually falls to the ground as precipitation. The water that drops on land settles in rivers and lakes, as well as mud and on the soft layers of the soil before joining into the oceans and then evaporating again. The cycling of water in and out of the atmosphere is an essential aspect of the Earth's weather cycles. The water cycle is the path that all water follows as it moves around our planet.
Anthropogenic effects on water cycle. So a number of human activities can impact the water cycles, like damming rivers for hydroelectricity, using water for farming, deforestation, and burning fossil fuels. So let's focus on deforestation. So deforestation means the removal of trees is having a major impact on water cycle as local and global climate change. Normally, trees release water vapor when they transpire, producing a localized humidity. This water vapor evaporates in the atmosphere where it accumulates before precipitating back to the earth as rain, sleet, or snow. Deforestation in one area can therefore affect the weather in another area because if trees are cut down, there is less water to be evaporated into the atmosphere and subsequently less rain.
Let's talk about invasive species. The rather concrete standardized definition of the term is still up for debate. However, it is generally defined as any living organism that is alien or non-native to a particular ecosystem and causes detrimental effects to it. They grow fast and reproduce rapidly, and if they generate threats to their surroundings, they are labeled invasive. Now, we raise the question, are we humans invasive? Other invasive species spread primarily through human activities, though often unintentional. We qualify for many of the criteria due to the spaces we occupy, except an important one. We are a native species to the earth, but we're most definitely doing harm to it in more ways than one. Would that be enough to consider humans invasive?
Invasive species have effects that can both harm the natural resources in the ecosystem as well as threaten the human lives. They can also cause harm to wildlife, especially when new and aggressive species is introduced in the ecosystem that still don't have any control. They also cause direct threats, such as causing diseases, competing for natural resources to native species, and preventing native species to produce by killing its offspring. Furthermore, invasive species can also cause indirect threats like changing the food web in an ecosystem and changing an ecosystem's condition. Besides, invasive species don't really provide food value for wildlife. They are mainly the reason for the abundance and diversity of species and its habitat to alter. If they continue to invade our environment, it will keep on damaging our biodiversity, resulting to a huge economic impact and fundamental disruptions of all ecosystems affecting all living organisms.
Epigenome is the primary location of gene-environment interaction and can be altered by environment both directly and indirectly. It literally means on top of or in addition to genetics, or basically factors outside the genetic sequence. Epigenetic factors, most famously histone modifications and DNA methylations, can switch genes on or off and determine what proteins are transcribed. This epigenome can affect not only humans but also animals. Temperature is an important epigenetic factor, both on land and on water systems. Rising water temperature means less dissolved oxygen is available to fish. As a result, several fish species have experienced changes in their epigenome. Changes in ocean salinity and acidity, both closely linked to water temperature, place a great amount of stress on corals, which are important habitat for many marine species and have also been shown to adapt via their epigenome.
So why do we need to be aware of everything that is happening around us? So basically, our environment is our home. So this is to spread awareness to everyone on how human activities damage our environment. Around the 6th century BC, the Greek philosopher said, "Water is the divine source of all living beings." We all need water to sustain life. Humans, plants, and animals need water for different purposes. Water is also an important source of agriculture, irrigation, crops. During photosynthesis, plants use water for food. Fishes, blue whales, seahorses, and many other types of water species need water to survive. Water is also an important source of electricity from hydropower. Some interesting facts about water. Our body is composed of about 60 to 70% of water. Water is an important foundation of life, so it must be used effectively. We should never waste water.
We are becoming increasingly aware of our impacts on nature, but unfortunately, many of the things we do have become so ingrained in our way of life that is hard to change. Just as human activity, it is upsetting Earth's carbon cycle. Our actions are alternating the water cycle, and we forget that water cycle and the life cycle are one.